First of all, I want to get started by cleaning up my Firebase database. I'm going to delete this orders node in our real-time database here because I want to start from scratch and get rid of all the old orders. I'll leave the ingredients here though, because we'll soon go back to fetching them from the server and not getting them or not having them stored locally in our store, though only for demo purposes. In a real application, it might of course also make sense to initialize the ingredients in your code. So with that, let's see what we can do. And the first thing I actually want to do and want to add to our code are the Redux devtools. We installed that extension for the browser in the last module. Now I want to set up the store here in our Burger Builder application such that we can use the devtools there too, because I want to be able to analyze my store. For that, I'm back on the Redux devtools extension GitHub page with the installation instructions. And there's one difference to the setup we used in the last module, though we will go back to that setup from there. Right now, we don't use any middleware, so we don't need the advanced store setup where we needed to create this compose enhancers constant and use the native compose function or this special variable passed by the devtools. Since I got no other enhancers right now, we're not using any middleware yet, we can go with the basic setup for now. Though, as I just said, we're going to switch back to the advanced setup soon because we're about to add middleware. With the basic setup, however, all we have to do is add this argument here to our create store function call. So accessing two special, or actually it's one and the same, special variable on the window object, which is provided by the Redux devtools extension, which we pass as a variable and then also execute as a function. So this is simply something we have to add as a second argument to create store, Redux devtools extension, and executing it as a function. With this tiny change, if we save the index.js file and we go back to our application, we should already be able to open our devtools and there switch to Redux. And it should load our Redux inspector then, and we should see the init state, and if I add an ingredient, we should see that add ingredient action here. Of course, the same for removing it. And there we can also use time traveling. So this is working great. So here we got the functionality we want so that we're able to conveniently work with our application and easily debug it and have a look at our current state. So that's the first thing I wanted to do. With that out of the way, let's dive into our actual business logic and let's start adding functionality to handle orders with Redux too.